welcome back to Books with Brandy Wine. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about some dragon books that I've really been wanting to read. Some of them I don't really know anything about except the cover looked really cool. And I'm hoping that you guys can give me some insight on if you guys have read any of these books, if there's any that you guys think are really awesome that you think I should read as soon as possible, or if there's any that you guys thought were just like really like they look cool, but they're just not that cool. And hopefully I can add some books that are worthwhile onto my TBR because I have a huge TBR, but it doesn't include as many dragon books as I would like, and I want to change that. So without further ado, let's get into the list of the 10 dragon books that I really want to read. So the first one is the Dragon Slippers series, and this was a book that was suggested to me by Kara from the Wild Book Garden. And from what I saw from the synopsis, basically this girl's 15 years old. Her mom decides she's going to sacrifice her to a dragon in the hopes of attracting a marriageable knight to come save her and marry her. And instead she ends up making a deal with the dragon for some slippers. And then those slippers get stolen by a princess who wants to control all of the dragons and use them to take over the country. So it sounds pretty cool. And the cover is absolutely gorgeous, as you can see. The next book that I really want to read is The Priory of the Orange Tree. I know absolutely nothing about this book except that it's super thick and it's got a cool dragon on a tower, but everybody has been reading this book lately and everybody said that it's super amazing. The world building is amazing. Even Christopher Paolini read it. Like when he came for his book signing, he said that he was reading it. So everybody is reading this book, including dragon lovers, and so I'm really curious to read it and see how it is. I definitely need to choose a time when I have time for that thick of a book. I probably won't be reading it for a readathon, so whenever I don't have a readathon going on is when I'm going to try and tackle that book. The next series that I really want to read is the Dragon Keeper Chronicles, and this is one of those series that I don't know anything about, but that I see constantly. I see it in the bookstore. I see it in used bookstores a lot. I see it just like online. Like it's just one of those series that pops up a lot. And so I'm really curious about it. Obviously, it's about dragons. It sounds really interesting. And so this is definitely one of those series where I want to know if you guys have read it and if it is as cool as it looks. Like I said, I see it everywhere. And so every time I see it, it just makes me want to pick it up more and more. The next series I want to read is The Dragon with the Chocolate Heart, and I'm pretty sure I saw that this was a series. I came across this one while I was going down the dragons list on Goodreads, and it immediately got my attention because dragons and chocolate, and dude, chocolate, like, yum. And so I read the synopsis, and basically this dragon was going to prove that she was the fiercest dragon in the land, and so she went to capture a human, ended up drinking a magical hot chocolate potion thing and turned into a human herself and is now going to try and get an apprenticeship as a chocolate maker because it's delicious and it is her new passion, I guess, and I am all for that. I mean, I feel bad that she got turned into a human when she was a dragon because dragons are amazing, but chocolate! So I'm really curious to see where this story goes. I'm really hoping there's a lot of chocolate involved and maybe I will use that as an excuse to eat chocolate while I'm watching it. Ooh, I wonder if Michael's has dragon molds. I could make dragon-shaped chocolate. Or I could just eat heart-shaped chocolate. That would be great too. Or just chocolate. Chocolate's delicious. But yeah, so that is one of the series that I am hoping to read soon. Fairly soon, hopefully. The fifth series that I want to read is the Dragons in Our Midst series, which consists of 4 books, and then there's a branch-off series of another 4 books and another branch-off series of another 4 books. So it could be 4 or 8 or 12 books depending on how much of the series that I choose to read. And I kind of like the idea that it branched off that many times because that means there must be a good story there, right? So, because he just kept writing. It looks like it takes place in our modern day world, and they're 2 teenagers, and one knows that her mom has been a dragon all this time, and the boy just found out that his dad is a dragon and has been hiding in a human skin to keep from being killed by a dragon slayer, and then that dragon slayer attacks them and adventures ensue. And so that was pretty much all I could find about it. Trying to find a summary of this series was really difficult. It did come out about 15 years ago, I think, 14 or 15 years ago. So I am curious to read this. The artwork on it, I would have thought was older. It would have looked like it was like the 90s or 80s to me, but I guess it was the early 2000s. And this is one of those series that I haven't heard anything about. I just happened to come across it on Goodreads, and it sounded intriguing. So if you guys have read it, let me know how it sounds. This one is kind of one of those ones where, like, I kind of want to read it, but it's not necessarily at the top of my list. The next book that I want to read is called Dealings with Dragons, and this is the first book in a series, and this is definitely one of those books that I really want to read. It takes place, or the setting, words. The basic summary that I saw of this book is that she was, I don't know if she was a princess, or if she was just a regular girl, but whatever she was sick of her life. And so she leaves and convinces this dragon to let her become a dragon's princess, which I don't know if that means that she just hangs out with him, or if that means that she becomes like his servant, and knights are supposed to rescue her, but it sounds like she probably doesn't want to be rescued if she sought out the dragon. But I always think it's fun. I did love A Tale of Two Castles, which sounds like it would be kind of a similar thing. This girl ends up working for a dragon. And so I am curious to read it, curious to see how it goes. I think it's kind of cool flip on the trope of like dragons kidnapping princesses and keeping them hostage, whereas this girl like willingly went to the dragon. So I kind of want to read that book and see how that goes. The seventh book on my list of books that I want to read about dragons is Rise of the Dragon Moon. And this is a book that just came out, if I remember correctly. Like, it's a really recent book. And it's about a princess that has to rescue her mom from dragons. And the cover is absolutely gorgeous. Like, it's got northern lights on it, and I'm pretty sure that cape of hers has dragon scales. And so, like, I don't know if this is going to be a series or not, but I definitely want to read this first book. I am so curious about this debut author, and this, I'm pretty sure not many people have read this one yet to tell me how great it is, but it looks beautiful, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to read this one. The eighth series on my list is actually a duology. It's Ivy's duology, and the first book is Ivy's Ever After. And from the synopsis, it says that this follows the story of a nonconformist princess and an undersized, non-threatening dragon that team up to fight a prince that is bent on destroying the kingdom. So that's all I know about it. The plot of it sounds like it could either be really good or really bad and disappointing. So this one is one of those ones that's kind of, again, on the fence of whether or not I'm going to read it. Definitely, if you guys, like, say you've read it and you've loved it, then I'll probably most likely read it. But it's one of those ones where I'm kind of, like, on the fence on. Because it sounds like it could be a cool plot, but you never know. The ninth series that I want to read is the Flaxfield Quartet. And the first book of this is called Dragonborn. And this follows the story of a boy who is an apprentice to a wizard, but that wizard dies. And the boy goes on a journey to try and find somebody else to train him in his magic. And he takes along with him his dragon, whose name I think was like Starstruck or something. And something happens, and the only thing that can save him is his dragon. It looked like the ratings that were on Goodreads were pretty even for every single star rating. So that is weird. Like, I don't think I've ever necessarily seen that before. It's usually heavily at like 1 star thing, but it was like, there were almost 900 ratings, and yet it was like 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. So I have some hesitations. The covers on the series are absolutely gorgeous, and I know we're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but I really judge books by their covers. So this is, again, one of those ones that I'm kind of on the fence about, but kind of curious about, because dragons, and it looks interesting, and it's got magic. And the very last book on this list is The Iron-Hearted Violet. And as you can see, the cover is epic. So this book was already on my dragon list, and all it was like I had gone through and found a bunch of dragon books that looked really cool like months ago. And I didn't realize until just now when I looked the book up again for this video that it is by Barnhill, who also wrote The Girl That Drank the Moon. So this book is for sure getting read. Like, I will read anything Kelly Barnhill writes because she is an amazing storyteller, she's an amazing writer, and I'm reading this book, regardless of what you guys say. Which I'm sure you guys will love the book anyway because Kelly Barnhill is amazing, but I am reading this book. So basically the synopsis that I found for it said that she is just a plain normal girl, and her friend find a forbidden book in the library that tells about this dark evil that's hidden in their world, and then they have to team up with the last dragon in order to defeat this evil or something. And it's about like the power of stories because however it ends is however they tell a story or something like that. I don't know. The synopsis was kind of confusing. I'm sure the story will make way more sense. But I'm really, really excited to have found another Kelly Barnhill book. And I cannot wait to read this book. Like, I read her last book in October for a readathon, and her books are amazing. So I cannot wait to read that. So these are 10 books and series that are about dragons that I have been really curious to read. Let me know if you guys have read any of these books and what you thought of them. And if you guys have any dragon recommendations that you think I should read, definitely let me know because I am always looking for more dragon books. I was really surprised a couple of months ago when I realized how few dragon books I've read, and I am determined to fix that. So I will see you guys later. Bye!